let's just dive right in. Welcome back to today's explainer. Look, today we are tackling something absolutely crucial if you want to sound natural. How to stop just talking to yourself and actually start asking questions in Korean. I mean, think about it for a second. We've mastered some amazing power verbs so far, right? Things like eating, going. And that's great. But if you only ever talk about yourself, things are going to get awkward really, really fast. Just imagine sitting across from a new friend in Seoul and you're just rattling off a list of things you do with zero prompting, zero curiosity about them. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. A real conversation is a two-way street. To go from just a passive observer to an active participant, you've got to stop talking to yourself. Building a genuine connection, that requires curiosity. So for today's conversational goals, we're going to build that curiosity by cracking the code on 3 absolutely essential question words: who, what, and where. Let's get into it. Okay, let's start with our very first building block. This is the word for what, which is 뭐. 뭐. It's short, it's punchy, and trust me, it's going to be one of your most used words, hands down. 뭐 is basically your master key for discovering objects, actions, all of that. But a question word sitting all by itself isn't super helpful, right? We need to attach it to an action. And this right here shows you just how incredibly effortless sentence building becomes when you actually approach it the right way. It's literally like snapping puzzle pieces together. Step 1, we take our new question word, 뭐. Step 2, we bring back one of those power verbs from yesterday, 먹어요, which means to eat. You just snap them together. 뭐, 먹어요. That translates straight to, what are you eating? Boom. Just 2 words cleanly snapped together, and you've instantly opened up a dialogue. So easy, right? Let's keep that momentum going and look at our next piece. Bring in the second building block, Eodi. Eodi translates to where. So if 뭐 helps you figure out the things in a conversation, Eodi is all about location. It's your navigation tool. And exactly like we just did, we're going to pair this with an action to make it actually functional for you. Check out how beautifully simple this formula is. If we take our location word, od, and combine it with the power verb 가요, which means to go, they just snap right together. 어디 가요? Where are you going? Notice what happened there? No complex new grammar rules to memorize. You literally just took a word you learned 3 seconds ago and slapped it onto a verb you already knew. It's a total game changer. All right, so we've knocked out what and where. Now it's time for the third vital question word on our list, nugu. Nugu means who. Now, obviously, conversations are fundamentally about people, right? So having nugu in your toolkit is absolutely vital for figuring out exactly who is involved in the stories you're hearing. Now, if nugu sounds kind of familiar to you, there's a very good reason for that. To really anchor this word in your brain, I want you to think about K-dramas. If you watch Korean TV, you have 100% heard this before. Picture the scene. It's super suspenseful, a character's hiding out, and suddenly, bam, 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 a loud knock on the door. They gasp and yell, 누구요? Who is it? Seriously, next time you hear that dramatic gasp on TV, you are going to know exactly what they're asking. Okay, so here's the deal. We have our core vocabulary, we've got 뭐, 어디, and nugu. But how do we actually make it sound like we're asking a question? Well, this brings us to what I like to call the golden rule of Korean questions. Honestly, it's the biggest grammatical cheat code of this entire explainer, and it is all about the intonation shift. To really appreciate why this is a golden rule, just think about English for a second. We have this frankly terrible habit of flipping our grammar completely upside down just to ask a simple question. We add helper verbs, we invert the subject and the verb. It's structurally chaotic. You're going turns into where are you going? But Korean? Oh, Korean is so much better. You don't change the sentence structure at all. Korean keeps the exact same word order whether you are making a statement or asking a question. The entire difference, the whole shebang, relies completely on the pitch of your voice at the very end. Let me show you exactly what I mean, because it is all in the inflection. Listen closely to this. If I use a flat, totally even tone and say, Eodi 가요, my voice just stays level. That's a statement. It means I'm going somewhere. But if I just add a sharp upward curve to my pitch right at the very end, Eodi 가요, boom. Suddenly, without changing a single letter, without rearranging a single word, I am asking, where are you going? Flat tone, Eodi 가요. Rising tone, Eodi 가요? It is just brilliantly simple. So now that you've got the vocabulary, and you know the golden rule of intonation, I've got a challenge for you. I want you to put this into practice right now. Seriously, don't just passively listen, put it to work. Formulate a question for me down in the comments using either muo or Eodi. Think back to those power verbs. Stack the puzzle pieces together. Ask me what I'm eating or where I'm going. I'm going to be jumping in there to read and reply to as many as I possibly can. And hey, you're definitely going to want to get this practice in today because you are going to need these exact skills very, very soon. In tomorrow's lesson, we're actually taking these exact formulas out into the wild. We're going to tackle the real world of Korean transportation. You'll be using where and what to confidently grab taxis, master the subway system, and just get exactly where you need to be without sweating it.
As we wrap up today's explainer, I really want you to remember this. That tiny little pitch shift at the end of a sentence, it changes absolutely everything. It literally turns a brick wall into an open door. It turns a boring monologue into a real connection. You officially have the tools to be genuinely curious in Korean. So my final question for you today is this. What is your first real Korean question going to be? Get out there, raise that tone, and start having some real two-way conversations. I'll see you in the next explainer.